So I want to talk a little bit about healthcare in 2024 and some of the issues that doctors are faced with. First of all, you can see right there on his right hand there, uh, unreimbursed claims. These are some big issues. Why I've even found where doctors are actually leaving healthcare or leaving the private practice and trying to even sometimes go work at a hospital, or they try to end up in partnerships. That doesn't work out because, listen, most doctors, they are type A people. The last thing they want to do is have to partner with somebody else because they want to make their own decisions. So listen, if we can help a doctor stay independent and not have to feel like they have to go to a big healthcare system, well, that's what we want to be able to do and help them do that. HIPAA issues are a big, big issue right now. And why is that? Because we've changed, obviously, from 2023 to 2024. And every year, HIPAA requires them to make sure that they've trained all their staff in all the privacy issues that have to go on, because those change, they update, and they've got to get all those people back trained again in HIPAA. They've got to update all their manuals. They've got to do so many things. They got to check locks in their office. They got to make sure they've got security in their IT. There's a ton of things that are going on. And I'm going to go back up to these boxes that you've probably seen before. I'm going to go back up over here. This is what this one right here, where it says Compliancy Guard. To me, if I were getting into medical billing right now or medical revenue management right now, and I wanted to know how to market my business right off the bat, there's a couple of areas I would be focusing my attention on and letting doctors know I'm out there. Number one is I'm a HIPAA compliancy professional. This is what we do. If you've been on any of my webinars in the past, we're always talking about, do you have a good elevator pitch? And then do you have a good business story? Matter of fact, I was talking to Patrick Phillips yesterday. Patrick, is retired, but he's still a great friend. And we're bouncing ideas off of each other. And I said, Patrick, I think I got a good topic for a new book. And that really is helping and teaching people how to create a good business story. You've got your elevator pitch just to get people's attention. But if you got somebody's attention, how do you tell the story? That's what you got to have to understand is, can you develop a good business story? I like it. The HIPAA compliancy helps me build and create that business story, because right now, again, doctors are trying to figure out what they're going to do next with all their HIPAA compliancy stuff. That's why I've got this on here. Healthcare in 2024 are some big issues. Everybody knows about Medicare. I'm not even going to go on there because obviously that could be a whole webinar in and of itself. But what do we also have here at the beginning of the year? A lot of high deductibles. How are doctors going to start seeing their patients and their patients not freaking out because of their the high deductibles? I mean, some people have 8, 10, up to $15,000 of deductibles before they meet their deductible before their insurance kicks in. That means that they have to pay the doctor that amount of money, reach that threshold before their insurance kicks in. So how did the doctors get that revenue coming in? That's, again, where some of these other products that we have here at ABS will help that with either Quick Collect or Choice Pay. We've got some solutions there to help the doctors relieve a little bit of that pain that they may be having just in collecting deductibles. Obviously, losing patients, no doctor likes to lose a patient. We've got some marketing techniques to help the doctors get new patients and maintain their current patients. I'm going to tell you a story. And if you want to raise your hand, there's a little raise your hand in the Zoom meeting here if you want to do that. But how often have you ever gone to the doctor's office and then your appointments, let's say it's at 1:30. You get there early enough time. Let's say you get there at 1:15. Doesn't everybody expect to get to see their doctor hopefully by 1:30? Well, what happens is 1:45 goes around, 2 o'clock comes around, now it's 2:15, now it's 2:30. If you've ever had that happen to you, raise your hand in the little the Zoom meeting here. That doesn't create good customer service. If you think about it, good customer service can still be dealt with and in the doctor's office. And guess what? If that happens more than 1 or 2 times, if you're like me, I'm trying to find a new doctor, because listen, something's wrong here. The doctors doesn't have their their ducks in the order or whatever you want to call it, and there's a problem here to where they are just it's just bad, poor business. This actually happened to my wife just yesterday, and she was so frustrated. But the doctor did apologize. She actually was having to deal with a patient that was some trouble. And so, folks, obviously, we know these things are and can happen. But consistently, that's another way that doctors can lose money. So here's what my next slide is all about. Find the pain and begin to solve it. So this is how we start to develop a love for this business. This is what I love to do. I went to school, kind of give you a little bit of history of myself. When you're 17, 18, 19, 20 years old, and you think you know what you want to do for the rest of your life, folks, none of us really know what we're going to do at that age, barely trying to figure out life in and of itself. I went in and got a degree in electronic communications. Never thought I'd end up in healthcare, right? But now that I'm in healthcare, I love what I do in healthcare. And the reason I say that is because what I found is I love finding resolutions to problems. Now, they kind of stemmed from my days of being in communication technology, because what I was having to do, I was having to deal with a problem and I had to fix it. What I found I enjoyed doing that more with people than I did with electronics. That's what I love to do. And that's what we're doing here. We're trying to find the doctor's pain and we're trying to solve it. That's all we're trying to do. So we're not trying to sell the doctor. And again, I'll kind of use my air quotes here. We're not trying to sell the doctor anything. So would you love to be an entrepreneur? One of the things that we must figure out that we love to do is we love to business network. So I'm going to kind of give you the story of my daughter. She is involved trying to get her business now started in medical billing. She's kind of seeing, the path that I've been on. My wife and I have both been on, owning a couple of medical billing businesses. And she's been in healthcare for a while, and she's thinking, okay, I want to be my own entrepreneur. And I told her just a few weeks ago, I said, okay, so what you need to make sure that you remember as an entrepreneur, as a business owner now, that nobody's going to come to you unless you go tell them your story. Okay? So you got to get out there and go meet other people. Now, you can see here by this picture that I've got here, I picked this picture intentionally to show no doctors. Okay? You see this picture showing no doctors here. And why is that? Because what I want you to do is start to love to meet other business people. You're going to learn a couple of things by working with other business people. Number one, you're going to learn how to develop your own business story. How do you do that? I'll tell you how you do that. I'm going to pick Janine over here. So Janine's on here. And if I met Janine at a business networking meeting, we'll talk about where you can find some of those. One of the first things I'm going to do, hopefully I can beat her to the punch on this. My first thing is I'm going to introduce myself. I'm going to tell her the name of my company. And I'm going to say, Janine, tell me about what you do. And I just sit there and I must stop talking and I'm going to listen. Because what I want to do, what am I listening for? I'm listening for her business story. Because if I can hear her business story and I can find out that she might know of a doctor, that's what I'm keying in on. Because if I hear that, let's say that she's in real estate, or she's in insurance, or she's in some other type of business, and she starts rattling off her business, I know how to start asking my questions. All right, in your business line, have you ever come across any doctors that may be struggling in their own business? Now I'm going to stop and listen. So you can see what I've done. I'm just starting to develop a technique, because I want to hear other people's businesses and what they're doing. And I'm listening for key things in here that I know that I can start to develop a business relationship with these folks. Because eventually they're going to guess what and ask me. They're going to say, well, what do you do? Well, what I do, I'm able to help the healthcare industry where they're having problems of losing money on just billing their claims. I'm able to help many times find, if not hundreds, literally thousands of dollars where the doctors are missing out. And that's through just medical reimbursements. You can see I didn't say anything about medical billing. Okay, so you can see that you can start developing your story. You get very, very strategic in what you're doing here. So what I'm saying here is that I want you to start developing a love for business networking. I love being around people. Again, it's all has to deal about being around other people. I love being around other people. I have built my business network because of being around other people. I'm doing today what I love to do in healthcare because I've been around other people in business networking groups. So where do we find some of these business networking groups? Well, if you haven't ever met anybody from a BNI, that's Business Network International, that's one of them. There's another one called LaTips. Obviously everybody's heard of meetup groups. But the reason I put the two on the end here is because these are my two favorite places I like to do business networking, BNI and the Chamber of Commerce. So BNI, you can go find a BNI networking international group somewhere in your zip code or several zip codes that you might live around. Now, the great thing about it is before you spend one dime here at American Business Systems, you can go to both of those places for free. Okay? No cost to you to go there. Okay? So here's what I recommend you go doing. So if you're very interested in getting involved in medical revenue management, I would go find out, call up your BNI group, call them up. Don't go look in the phone book. Don't go do a Google search to see if there's any medical billing companies in your area. Okay, don't do that. I want you to go to either one of these groups, go to BNI, go find a local BNI group and call them up and say, do you have any medical billing companies in your group? Okay, so that's number one. Everybody got that? So I'm giving you homework to do. I'm giving you actionable items to do before you put one dime here in American Business Systems. I'd rather you come to American Business Systems already with a plan of action of you already knowing what you're going to go do to get out there because I want you to love what you do. Okay? So start working your business part of it now. Go to a BNI group, call them up. I promise you, there's probably in some of the areas that you live, there's probably going to be 2, 3, maybe even 4 of them in your area that you can drive to. Just call them up. Hey, and the reason I'm telling you this is because they only take one biller in their group, which means that they're only going to have one real estate person in their group. They're only going to have one insurance group person in that group. They're only going to have one builder in that group, construction person in that group, one attorney, one CPA. They don't have like multiple CPAs in that particular BNI group. And if you call up one, they don't have a medical billing company, you found a gold mine. And I promise you, this is where some of our best business owners have found their first client of just going to a BNI meeting, finding one that doesn't have a medical billing partner in that particular group, join that group, start getting to know those people. That group starts feeding you referrals. Okay, end of the webinar. You've got all of it you need to do. So you see how I'm trying to get you to love this business before you even get started, because the biggest fear that everybody has is, can I get a client? I'm teaching you and telling you how to go get a client. Same thing with the Chamber of Commerce. Now, Chamber of Commerce may have multiple CPAs, multiple attorneys, multiple real estate people in that, because obviously this is another group that usually comes together. Go find your local Chamber of Commerce. First of all, just go drive over there during the day. Just tell them that you're looking to possibly join their chamber. Tell me a little bit about your Chamber of Commerce. What do you do? Now, here's a question I want you to write down. Everybody get their pen out or typing out your note here. I'm about to give you a good piece of information. Now, we're not going to ask them, do they have any medical billing people in there? What we're going to ask them is this question. Do you have anybody in the healthcare industry that's part of the Chamber of Commerce? All right, now I'm going to give you that question again. Go to the Chamber of Commerce, introduce yourself, tell them you're thinking about joining, you'd like to join. But before I join, can I come to a couple of your meetings? Can I come to a couple of your luncheons? When are you having them? They usually have a non-member cost to go to one of their luncheons, and simply before you leave, ask them, do you have anybody in the healthcare industry that's part of your Chamber of Commerce? I know the answer to that. The answer is going to be yes. Do you have a directory of your members? They'll give you, it's usually sometimes in a pamphlet, a little book, a membership, something or another. Do you have any of your ambassadors? Because that's a part of the arm of the chamber. Do you have any of your ambassadors a part of your Chamber of Commerce that's in the healthcare industry? I'd love to talk with them. So I'm giving you two main things to do with your Chamber of Commerce. If they say yes, hey, I've got somebody here that's in home health, or I've got somebody here that is does durable medical equipment, or I've got somebody here that does medical billing. I don't care. They don't bother me. I'd love to go find out and have coffee with them. So don't be afraid, even if they go, oh, yeah, I've got a medical billing company here that's part of the chamber. But again, they're going to be rare, very, very rare. Okay. So let me just get a poll. I'm going to tell you, has everything I've said so far, has this been helpful so far to what you're thinking about what you're doing? Again, you can kind of just give me a raise of hands, or I don't know if there's a thumbs up or anything. Just kind of give me some little feedback here, because I want to make sure I'm not losing anybody. I'm trying to give everybody right now a sense of what you can do to help build your business networking thinking ideas right here off the bat. So can I get some feedback? Anybody has a question about this? You can put a hands up saying, yes, this is good. It's helping so far. Any response so far? Okay, you better get ready. I'm about to pull some people out of the hat here if I don't hear from anybody. Okay, yeah. Deneen says, this is good stuff. Thank you. I appreciate that. All right. So let's keep on talking real quickly. Anybody else want to type in something, you can, or just put your little, raise your hand here in your on your chart there that at least kind of tells me some good things here. Okay. So again, go check out BNI. Again, I'm telling you what I've found so far. Thank you, Skip. I appreciate that. So what I'm telling you here right now is probably the number one way in which our brand new business owners here at American Business find their first clients is through these organizations. What we're going to teach you are some very strategic ways of doing this. One of the ways that you can do this is once you've kind of you start building this networking group, now you can start going to some of those and say, look, I just want to have a lunch and learn with some folks. I'm going to be buying pizza. Everybody, I want to get my group of people together, because what you're going to start creating is power partners for your networking business. And then this is where you can kind of have a brown bag type of thing together, where you can pull some of the people that you've kind of gotten to know, pull those folks in, and since you're kind of running the show there, or it could be a coffee hour. You can say, hey, I'm buying everybody coffee. Everybody come to coffee and donuts at a place, whatever you want to do, at a Starbucks or whatever you want to do. Say, hey, I want to invite you. I want to invite 2 or 3 of these folks, and then just start bouncing these ideas and say, look, this is what I do, or this is what I'm about to launch. And so let me tell you how you can present this. And this will help you kind of build your credibility. You can say, I'm about to be a part of the nation's largest group of independent medical billers. I'm about to have a local office right here in our area. And one of the things that we're trying to find are doctors who are finding themselves really under the gun with either things with Medicare, or they're not being able to get their claims reimbursed properly. So now you got a team of people without even having to pay any salespeople. So now that you've kind of developed some trust here, you've developed a little bit of credibility with some folks, now you can start asking people to start helping you. That's what these lunch and learns can be. Plus, you may even find within the organization of the Chamber of Commerce, or even through BNI, you may end up running across a doctor, a chiropractor, or somebody else. Take them to lunch and say, this is what I'm doing, doc. This is what I'm doing, physical therapist. I want to bring you here. This is what we're doing. I'm about to join the nation's largest group of independent medical billers. I'm about to open up a local office here. And one of the things that we're looking for, again, are doctors that are finding a very difficult time getting their bills or their claims reimbursed. Because typically what happens is that any doctors lose anywhere from 10 to 20% of first-time claims that get processed. We can get that down as low as 2%. you're going to get somebody's attention, because now what you're doing is telling doctors how, or these other people, how we're going to help the doctor get their reimbursements back up. You can do educational events. We're going to teach you how to do that through our training courses. And obviously, folks, out of that, you're going to have one or two people, doctors say, or people that you meet in your BNI group or your Chamber of Commerce, they're going to say, listen, I want you to go directly to this doctor and take them your stuff. They'll know that you're coming. So that's what we call direct marketing, not just going out there cold calling doctors. These are people that you've already been referred to. And now you got this doctor going, yeah, I just heard from John down that you were going to be stopping by. To me, that is real direct marketing, and the way that direct marketing works properly. Then you could, out of that, let's say that you go to a Chamber of Commerce, or let's say that you go to a BNI meeting, and all of a sudden you run across, guess what? A pharmaceutical rep, or some type of medical device rep, or some other type of healthcare rep in some way or shape or another. And they go, you know what? I know a ton of doctors. How about I introduce you to them, and now you can start utilizing sales reps through those. And then with those sales, guess what every sales rep is? They're an entrepreneur anyway. And if there's a way that within their agreements that they have with their companies, sometimes these are all 1099 people, which means they're independent reps. They're always looking for another way of making some money. So what if you were able to cut them a little deal into this first doctor that they help you land? There's all sorts of ways that we're going to show you how to do that in training. We'll even show you how to pay these people. And then just simple warm markets of what you're going to do. And this is where you're gathering your people together, your friends, your people that you already know, who already like and trust you already, how to develop this warm market. And this is what we're going to do. So as you can see here, I've just spent, gosh, I've got 19 minutes left in this webinar. I'm trying to give you so much information because, first of all, I want you to know that I love dealing in healthcare. And that's why we want you to, would you love to be an entrepreneur in healthcare? And this is, I think you're going to really love this. Dave says, how long does a training take? I'm going to answer that in two ways. First, I'm going to tell you how long it takes you. It could probably take you less than 2 weeks to complete it. We have 10 modules that last about 90 minutes each in each of those trainings. So it could take basically, it could take you anywhere from up to 10 days to 14 days, Dave. Now, I'm going to answer it again in a second way, is that just last Wednesday, in our webinar that we did last Wednesday, I did a kind of a deep dive on everything about training. So I'm going to show you here in just a moment where you can go find that recorded webinar. You can go watch that, and that's really going to give you a deeper dive into the training. So what I want you to do is start to develop and love business networking. Now, you can see everything so far. I've never told you so far, I want you to love to go market yourself, or just go sell yourself, or go door knocking or cold calling. It's nothing to do with what we're trying to do. This is I love what Patrick used to say. Patrick used to say, this is a clean business to business working environment in a very professional way. All right, so let's move on to one other. I want you to learn how to love building credibility. Now, when you're first getting started off, you have little to no credibility. But what we've learned here is that doctors listen to other doctors. So one of the ways in which we help you build instant credibility, we're going to show it. I'm going to show it to you in two major ways. Number one, the medical director of MIRMA, remember that group there, the medical director of MIRMA, her name is Dr. Vicki Rackner. You want to write her name down? I'm going to show you her picture right here. Dr. Vicki Rackner has written several books. One is called The Myth of the Rich Doctor. You can go find that on Amazon. It's under, you can just type that in there. You can find her book. If you're a person like me, I like real books. So if you're anything like me, one of the things I found out about loving entrepreneurship, I'm always buying self-help study guides or anything that I'm getting into. I like to buy real things. We don't make a dime off of Dr. Rackner's book. That's just completely all of hers. So if you want to go get that. However, for those that are on the webinar today, what I want you to do is get back with your business coach here at American Business Systems. We actually have a PDF of her book that I'm willing to give you if you'll just simply go back and talk with your business coach. Ask them, tell them that Eric said to get you the PDF of Dr. Wagner's book, The Myth of the Rich Doctor. So what we're trying to do here is help you build and love building credibility. One of the things, again, that I said to you in the previous slide is what? Doctors listen to other doctors. So how about we get Dr. Wagner to introduce you to one of your potential doctors that you found in your networking group. Let's say out of this networking group, someone drops a name. Don't go directly to that doctor immediately. Let's get that information over to Dr. Wagner. She already has a letter prepared to introduce herself along with her book and another book that we're going to show you here in just a moment, introducing you as one doctor to another doctor. So folks, those that are trying to get started here and you're trying to figure out how am I going to build this credibility, this is what happens there. This is how we do it. So I'm going to jump here ahead a little bit because of our time frame. There's this book that we have called The New Thriving Medical Practice. This again can be purchased on Amazon. So when a doctor gets that, they can always go see, yep, this is a real book that's out there on Amazon and everything. It's for $29.95, whatever it cost is. But again, guess what I'm going to give you? I'm going to tell you to get back with your business coach today and ask them to send you the PDF of this book as well. So we're giving you information. We're trying to educate you today to get you some information. Now, here's the great thing about it. Guess whose name goes on the book? Your name goes on the forward part of the book because you're the one that's written the forward of the book. Not only you've written the forward to the book, it's already built inside the book that would have your forward of your name with a CMRM, that's a Certified Medical Revenue Manager. And then on the closing part of that, it has all of your contact information on the book. This is how we build credibility and we build it quickly. Because first of all, you've got Dr. Wagner that's introducing you along with her book, The New Thriving Medical Practice, that she co-wrote with Patrick Phillips, and you are the forward. Let me kind of tell you some of the success stories that have happened. During COVID, when nobody could go see anybody at that time, our business owners, what they started to do, they started going out and just mailing these out to doctors because doctors couldn't go in. They started reading the book. They'd call up whoever wrote the forward, which was that particular business owner, ABS business owner, and says, hey, I just got through reading your book. They didn't write the book. They wrote the forward to the book. But again, the credibility was there enough to where they considered you as part of being the author of the book. And it was amazing how many doctors became new clients to our business owners simply by utilizing the book. All right, Dave, peddling the book has caused me to lose interest. Dave, I'm sorry, that is not what we're trying to do. It's hopefully that doesn't cause you to. We're not peddling any books. What this is an educational part of this. So Dave, if you're still there, I'm not sure if you're still there, but we're not peddling books. This is an amazing thing for you, and I'm not peddling books to you to go buy these books. These are books for you to help you learn more about what we're doing here at American Business Systems. So folks, again, we're not here peddling books. You don't have to buy any of these books. They're there if you want them. They're there for you for free from us for you as a PDF. So one of the other things that we're trying to do here is also learn to build credibility through your website. That's what we have here. We've got websites here for you to be able to have your presence out there, because you can't just go out there and hang and shingle out there on your front porch of your house, or even for an office building out there on anywhere else. You've got to have a web presence. And one of the things that has caused a lot of people to kind of stumble through everything that they do here is they don't know how to write everything that they need to write for a website. We've got all that content written for you. All we're going to need to do, again, is have your information that we can put on here for you as best we can. So this would be your business name, your contact information, your email address. Has nothing here to do with American Business Systems. You can see here we've got welcome to AB Solutions, but that's ABC Solutions. So this would be your contact information, all of your stuff. It wouldn't even be our web address. So we're going to help you find the proper URL for your website. And this is what we're going to do. We've got plenty of web content that you're able to pull from, different types and everything else that you've got here. And this is a great way for you to be able to kick your business off again. Lastly, as we kind of start wrapping up here, I want you to learn how to love providing solutions. That's what we provide here. How many solutions do we have? You can see all of them that we have here. You got the revenue cycle management, iClaim, EMRX, Quick Collect, Audit Guard, CodeWrite, virtual care, which virtual care has to do with all with remote patient monitoring, Compliancy Guard that has to do all with HIPAA compliancy, Choice Pay, Auto Card, Credentials Now. Doctors have to have credentialing done before they can actually start receiving any payments from insurance companies. And then for those that want to do some dental billing, we have a dental platform that you can do dental billing from as well. Matter of fact, this last Friday, I'm understood we have just brought on a new partnership in our solutions here. So one of the things that we're always doing here is adding new solutions for doctors as we kind of go through this. So let me kind of share a couple of things here for you, because as we get into medical billing, some people really kind of get tripped up to know whether they're going to be able to do coding. So let me kind of help that out real quickly. We have two solutions for you for medical coding, because a lot of people want to come to find out and say, hey, do we need to go into medical coding at all? All right, so let's clarify that. So coding is something that if you're going to get into coding, you would have to go into an apprenticeship. It can probably take you anywhere from 2, it could take as high as 4 years of that to be able to do that. We have professional, what's called certified professional coders already that will work with us and for us and for you. So if a doctor of yours needs coding, any coding solutions, we have what's called CodeWrite, that we could get those doctor's notes uploaded, simply get those scanned in, let the CPCers do what they need to do and get the codes back to you so that you would be able to put those codes back into the medical billing platform, which is iClaim. Then if doctors at any particular time while they're in business could be under 1 or 2 up to 3 or 4 audits at one given time. And it's not just Medicare that they could be audited from. It could be audited from Blue Cross Blue Shield. They could be audited from Aetna, Cigna, any of those insurance companies that they actually end up taking. And why is that? Because what they're trying to do, the insurance companies, they've got to make sure that when they're reimbursing the doctors, that they're reimbursing the doctors correctly based upon the notes that the doctors are taking. So let's say that you come in with a cough and maybe one little ache or pain. Well, what happens is during an audit, they're going to look at the doctor's notes and say, when they saw this patient, did they deal with the cough properly, and did they do any other procedures in that office? One of the procedures that gets reimbursed is what's called the procedure codes, which are in levels 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5. So a level 1 is the lowest reimbursement, where a level 5 is the highest reimbursement. So depending upon the data that the doctor has collected during that particular visit will substantiate what that level is. So whenever an insurance company wants to come and do an audit on a doctor, what they're trying to make sure is that they didn't overcode so that the doctor gets more money, but not substantiating enough on their notes, or they didn't undercode, so that takes care of that. So what we have here is an audit guard, and this in and of itself is another good way of creating a door opener for you before you ever do any medical billing in the first place. I've actually used this myself and getting doctors on board with me before I even did their billing. So this in and of itself, this service alone is a good one. I'm going to kind of wrap up with this one, and then I'm going to start wrapping up the webinar. And that again is with HIPAA compliancy. Again, one of the most vital parts of any practice area is their HIPAA compliancy. And so Compliancy Guard simplifies all of the compliance parts, all the tracking that needs to happen for what's called HIPAA and high-tech risk assessment requirements. We have all of this built in, ready to go. This is if you want to call it a sell, this is one of the easiest things that you can convince a doctor to do because it's so less, what's the word I'm trying to look for? Invasive, so to say, outside of the medical billing to help the doctors get them, their office, and their staff up at the HIPAA compliances of what needs to be required every single year. So this is a good part of the year to get doctors involved in getting all their HIPAA compliances because I promise you, that's what's going on. And I said the last thing, but one of the things I want to kind of provide here, love providing solutions here, is once you've gotten the doctor's attention and you're wanting to start getting them some questions. So let's say that we walked in together and we're going to introduce ourselves. And one of the things I might say here, my name is Eric and I'm with such and such company. One of the things I want to be able to do is tell you or ask of you, who is your HIPAA compliancy officer? Now, that's going to be a little shocking to the doctor's office because, first of all, they don't know who you're with. And so what this is going to do is provide an opportunity for you to just kind of be quiet and let them tell you, oh, that's our office manager, or that might be the doctor, and say, do they have a moment where I can speak with them? Because I've got something I'd like to offer them. You typically, 9 out of 10 times, end up going to get an audience with somebody. And so one of the things you would like to do is say, hey, I'd like to come talk with you. I know you're probably heavily involved in getting all your HIPAA compliancy. I've got some quick solutions to kind of get you there pretty quickly. Do you have some time at another time where I can come in and we can sit down for maybe about 20, 30 minutes? I'd just love to help make sure that you've got everything that you need for your HIPAA compliancy part of it. When you do that, you're going to ask them some questions. Part of some of the things you're going to teach or learn during our training class is how to do what's called a practice analysis questionnaire. It's going to be out of this that not only are you getting information from that office about their HIPAA compliancy issues that they're having to deal with, but you're also going to get some very important data information. And the data information you're going to be getting is going to be built around the claims. And what you're going to find out is if you can get that information, and then when you return back with some of the solutions, one of these is showing the doctor that one of the ways that you know that you can help them in another way is with their reimbursements. Because once you can start to learn how many claims that they file in every month, what's their typical reimbursement, do they know what their current rejection rate is, how much money are they actually collecting, you can kind of gather all that because all those calculations are built in. You don't even have to ask them for that. And then when we know that our rejection rate is less than 2% or right at 2% or anything, you can see on the right-hand side, you see where it says monthly revenue increase, 58.3%, or an increased revenue per month, $10,000. That's what we're able to kind of share back with you and say, not only can we help you with your HIPAA compliancy, but here's some possible projections. If according to what our numbers are when we do medical billing, using your own data that we have that you've given to us as well, here's a projection of how we might be able to help you with your medical billing. Now, you didn't sell your medical billing. You're just giving them some potential things to look at. If this gets to the doctor's desk, do you think they might want to give you a call back and ask you how you're going to get to those numbers? You better believe it, because that's where we want to end up. So everything that we worked on up through this entire webinar today of learning how to love the business networking part of it, trying to show your credibility, and then getting down to this part, by this time, you are very close of getting and working with your first doctor. I'm going to skip through some of this. I am going to go all the way down to this last slide here. 2 minutes left. I've enjoyed this webinar so far. As you can see, I love, again, what we do. Well, let me share one thing with you, and then I think we've got one other question that I'm going to ask or answer for Aletha right now. Aletha, does all the software come with the initial cost, or each or separate? No, you get everything together. So again, get back with your business coach. They're going to explain to you how the software actually works with like iClaim and EMRX. You're going to get the opportunity to have what's called like a demo site that you'll be able to work from. But whenever it comes down to the doctors doing their billing, that doctor is going to have their own subscription into iClaim EMRX. That's going to allow you to do the work for the doctors for doing all their billing. Because currently they're using some type of medical billing platform already. We're just going to switch them from that particular one over to ours. and we'll show you how easily that's done there. All right, so let me hopefully tell you one last thing that you might love about what we do here at ABS. And what we try to do, again, and we've shared with you to be as transparent as everything that we've been able to share with you today, is really how we're going to help you get that first doctor. Now, you will know pretty much within 30 days of whether this is actually going to work for you, because what we do, we give you a 30-day money-back guarantee. Once you've come on board with us here at ABS and you've completed your paperwork and you've started your first part of training, we actually extend the money back guarantee out another 30 days. So once you've joined us here at ABS, you got 30 days to still figure out, is this the right business for me? And one of the things that we want you to do is go through our entire training. That's what we do. We go through the entire training part of this to help you understand that you learn everything that we have. So at the end of training, if you decide this is really not for you and it's within that 30 days, we will reimburse everything that you've given unto us for your investment, and we get that back for you. And so that's our 30-day money-back guarantee. What else would you not love about that? As we kind of close up here, let me kind of share with you your next steps. So again, there's a couple of things that you're going to want to do. Download the research guide. What you're going to want to do is look at this research guide, get into it, look at it. We're just trying to give you information. Go to our YouTube channel, go see our past YouTube channels of what we've been able to do. It'll show you what we've done even just as last week or the week before last. Even today's webinar will be put up in the next couple of days, so you can have that. It'll be right at your fingertips there. One of the other things we want you to do is not only get all the information that we're giving to you for free today, and that is to get the reference list from us here at ABS. We've got business owners who are willing to talk with you. They've been right where you are. These are people that have come in. They were challenged. I'm going to tell you, there is nothing to be shocking that not everybody gets their first doctor within the first 2 to 3 days of joining ABS. Some of these have taken a little bit longer than others. But one of the things that we found out is if any of these folks get to start struggling, it's typically because they're trying to do it a different way than what they've been taught. And we get folks back on the track there, and all of a sudden, then they get their first, second, and third client. These people have been there. They're willing to talk with you. You need to take advantage of doing that. I've already shared with you that you need to sign up and get back with your business coach here and do a live demonstration of the ABS iClaim EMRX system. We'll do that. It's mano a mano. It's one-on-one. It's going to be live. You're going to have an opportunity to talk with your business coach there. And it'll be the same thing that we'll do whenever it's time for you to show the software to your doctor. We are going to do the live demonstration for you. Finally, get your purchase agreement. All you got to do is download it. I think it's up to 5 pages now. But one of the things that you're going to want to do is look at that first page. That first page actually has the money back guarantee, and I want you to make sure that you understand that. And then finally, get your funding together, get that done, taken care of together, and then schedule your training. So this is what I want you to be able to do. So these are the 6 steps that I want you to kind of go through, get your training done, get that 30 days kind of kicking off, and then still evaluate what we're doing here at ABS. We'd love for you to be a part of the team. Our number here is 866-565-8413. Our web address, or our email address, is info@absystems.com. Don't forget to get back with your business coach. I want you to get a couple of those books that we have. The Myth of the Rich Doctor. There's no cost to it. It's a free PDF that you can get. Get a copy of the New Thriving Medical Practice. Again, that's a PDF that we're willing to give you. So just go and ask for that. And then you've got all the other things. The first 5 steps to success, 5 secrets to success here. And then also the research guide. So you've got a lot of data that you're going to be able to get here. And I wish you the best and hope that you have a great time. And as you keep doing your due diligence here with us, I've got scheduled. Let me kind of tell you what I'm doing here for the next upcoming webinars. One of our business owners here at American Business Systems, his name is Tim Warren. I'm arranging an interview with Tim on 2 fronts. He is a current ABS business owner, but he is also head of our support and training, or is at least a head of our support. And the reason I want him to come on here, because I want him to kind of share a little bit of his story about how he got started in American Business Systems, but then how he has transferred his knowledge from what he's been able to do to the director of our support team here at ABS. This is going to be an incredible interview that you're going to have with one of our staff members here who is still doing medical billing. So that's a great opportunity to kind of get both best of both worlds there. One of our business owners, but then also the guy that heads up our entire training. Donine is asking, I currently do not have a business coach, but I did just now reach out to the website to speak to a rep. Okay, great. They'll reach back out to you, Donine. So make sure that, again, that you just get back with them. And once I reach a rep, will they assign me a business coach, or will I need to make a purchase first? No. Great question there. The business coach that you're going to be working with is going to be the one that kind of help you, lead you throughout all the next steps of what you need to do. Make sure that you get to see the demonstration, so you don't have to purchase before you kind of get taken to the next step. This person that you're going to have here is going to kind of lead you through the entire process, even help you through after your purchase here to make sure you got all your training done. That's what we call a business coach. Now, what happens is once you get through with training, then you will be transferred basically from the person that's kind of helped lead you through the purchasing process and getting you up through the training. That's where you're going to be handed off to Tim Warren's group, and they're going to take you from there. Okay, so you'll never be left alone. So you got your business coach here that's going to help kind of guide you through the research guide, going through the YouTube channels, getting you in touch with some of our business owners, doing the live demonstration, helping you through the purchase agreement, helping you get your funding and training all done. Once you've completed your training, that's when we hand you off to our business coaches with support. They're going to take you from there all the way to getting your first client. So hopefully, Donine, that helped answer your questions. Do I have any last minute questions here? I know that we've kind of gone over just a little bit. I'm finding myself that at every webinar, I'm finding myself going over the hour. So I hope you don't mind going over just a tad over. We did have a little bit of technical difficulty right at the first, so we'll kind of blame it on that a little bit. But any other questions? Was this helpful for you? Did you find this to be intriguing to you? Did you get the information that you were looking for? If you don't mind just kind of giving me a little bit of feedback, I'd appreciate that. And don't forget, again, to ask for those couple of resources that I want you to get. I want you to get the resource of the Dr. Brackner's, the myth of the rich doctor. I want you to go get the book from us. And again, this is not anything you have to purchase from us. We're not selling anything here on anything here. You're just going through just to get the books from us in a PDF format. So you don't have to purchase anything from us. So any other questions, any other comments? Donine, Janine, Marseille, Pedro, Rebecca, Aletha, anybody questions? I'm just calling out a few names here that are still left here on the webinar. Donine, great information. I'm looking forward to speaking with a rep. Good. I appreciate that. Looking forward to that. All right, listen, folks, I know that today's Valentine's Day. Hopefully you got your sweetheart that you're going to go spend some time with this evening. Have a wonderful time. Enjoy the rest of this week, wherever you may be located. We're going to be here again next Wednesday. We look forward to that. And if you got any questions, give us a call here at 866-565-8413. We look forward to seeing you on our next webinar. Y'all have a good night and a great evening and a great weekend. Y'all have a good one. Bye-bye, everybody.